what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about the mystery enemy that we might see. We're going to talk about the antique coins and merchant rumor. We're going to talk about the mentions of classic characters, Clive O'Brien and Alyssa Ashford. We are going to talk about the possible settings outside of the plantation. We're going to talk about chem fluid and how you use it. We'll talk about the backpack and the inventory, phone objectives, and more. We've got a huge packed show. There were 3 videos this week. You can find all the description and links in the description. And let's start the show like a weird guy at a car salesman place. So what is up, everybody? What is up, Zoms? So I'm going to assume most of you have seen all of the different things that came out this week. Scorp Zero, I see you. And the first thing that everybody's talking about is that TV spot that aired with The Walking Dead. So the season finale of Walking Dead, I actually fell asleep during it today, so no spoilers there. But I actually fell asleep right after the Resident Evil commercials because I wanted to watch it on my big screen. So that didn't really show us too much, but the one thing that it did show us, and if you're following on Twitter at WHERESBARRY, I've been asking about it. It's the first poll question. I've been sharing images of it and posted a video on it. So what do you think is the enemy that comes out from around the corner? And you can also answer in the chat as well. I'll see as many as I can get to through there. But again, chat deletes, so Twitter's a great place. And the official poll is on Twitter. So the mystery creature, it comes out around that corner, and it looks kind of like the molded, but it looks like it's smooth and silver, almost like an alien, but it has the same molded walk with like its pelvis, like, yeah. Good thing we don't have a full-length cam, but... And it's got the long arms, and it's coming around the corner, but it's walking pretty slow, it's walking a little different, and it makes a noise that's slightly different than the Molder characters. So, I mean, I tried to zoom in as much as I could. Resident Evil, they put a low-quality video up on their webpage, and even the one on TV was low quality. And I think they did that on purpose so we couldn't zoom in, but I might be just paranoid. And so, yeah, it kind of looks like a regenerator, the original regenerator from Resident Evil 4, where it's kind of a smooth body. Now, I don't think they're going to be using the same... characters from previous games like that, or enemies. I don't think the regenerator is going to be in the game, but it did look like that, and that's what the molded kind of looked like too. So, what are your thoughts on that? Let me know in the comments here and on Twitter what you think the creature is. Mortify thinks it's a new creature. Scorp Zero thinks it's a zombie. That wasn't one of the choices I gave. A couple people put that in the comments. The Amazing says weird creature. Alexander says, I didn't look at it. Yaya is ditching us. Rachel thinks it's her. Emperor thinks it's a mold zombie before it turns into a mold. I believe that's what you said. Incomplete mold zombie. So they put him in that body bag, hang him upside down. That's like a cocoon that we think transports them into mold creature. But we've never seen them hatch from the cocoon. And a lot of people in the comments today have said... They pop out of the cocoon, and they're all smooth, and like a baby is, and then they start to grow into the mold creature. So it could be an early rendition of the mold. It could also be a late rendition of the mold, like the mold gets smarter or evolves into a more human-like creature than it is when it's just mold. And then the third option that a lot of people were putting in the comments, another great thing, you guys are awesome in the comments, giving me all these great answers that I miss in the videos, is that it could be a female molder. And maybe the males are the hairy, ugly molders, and the females are the smooth molders that are probably even more frightening than the original. Liam says maybe the molded are like Crimson Head zombies. After you kill the mold, it becomes one of those. That would be very interesting. Ralphie also believes the mold are the Crimson Heads. Not Crimson Head, but Crimson Head-like creatures. Michael says it could be one of the Bakers mutated. That's another one on the Twitter poll that I put on there because everybody in the comments today said it could be Jack or Marguerite or Lucas, shifting into a new form. As you guys know from the past Resident Evil games, they love taking a regular human. I hate this part, and then making it into some creature. Like I was watching John Ford last night playing Resident Evil 2, and William Birkin comes out. He's just a little scrawny scientist. All of a sudden, he's got a giant eyeball in his arm. I don't like when they turn humans into these monsters, so I kind of hope they're not doing that again. I kind of like it to be a human enemy that's just a little bit stronger than normal. The other thing that came out today, or the last couple of days, was Mila Jovovich, who is in the new Resident Evil. She's in all the Resident Evil movies, but the new one is coming out in January, maybe even before the game, I think. She says that we will see an enemy from the new game in the movie first, before we see it in the game. Now, she's also told us about a year ago that there would be a Bloodshot creature in it, and we've looked at the preview, and I slowed it down. It kind of looks like a Bloodshot is in that movie preview, but we also don't know if Mila knows anything about video games, if she's confusing it with Resident Evil 6, if she even knows there's what Resident Evil game they're on. She's on Resident Evil 6, the movie, so she may think that Resident Evil 6, the game, correlates with the movie and that's coming out. So it's hard to take her answer seriously, but keep that in mind if you encounter a Bloodshot when Resident Evil 7 comes out. Mila told us, and I didn't really believe her. Alright, so the other video, or the other things in that little short trailer were, they showed Jack like out on a patio porch fighting you, so you know you're going to fight Jack a bunch of times in a bunch of different hallways. It's always a hallway, too, so you're always going to be trapped in there. It's going to be kind of frustrating because you can't run past him, it looks like. Just like the way that guy in the demo, the Molder, trapped you in the corner. They show the shotgun getting whatever. That's a great impression. That's like me playing the violin, but that's how I shoot a shotgun, like a violin, because I'm musical with my aim, or something like that. Now that part showed us the statue holding the shotgun, and the shotgun was missing, and there was no broken shotgun in his hands, like I think or thought would be the way to get it, to kind of go back to Resident Evil 1 and get it the same way, replace the broken shotgun, get the real shotgun. But I also know they've been editing some of these previews, so maybe they edited it out, or maybe I was just wrong. And it also showed us the mold creatures attacking us outside of the basement as well, so that it was interesting. That I thought that they might only be in the basement. Maybe they kind of creep out. Maybe the mold is creeping from the basement and up and up. And we also don't know if everything's taking place in the plantation that we're seeing, or if there's other settings, and we will talk about that. That is on the agenda as well. The next thing we need to talk about is the Biohazard France guy who played the game. Everything I've been seeing about it seems like it's pretty legit. And this is kind of the first time it seems like an actual fan watched the game, or played the game, because they were looking deeply at the notes. Leon Hurley from Games Radar, he's always answering my questions on Twitter. He didn't pay attention to any of that stuff. I asked him a bunch of questions, and he's like, I don't remember. But this Biohazard guy, he was definitely paying attention. So it was our first kind of inside look from a fan at the game that I can remember. And the big thing that came out of that was he found 2 notes in the game, and one of them mentioned Clive O'Brien, who is a character from Revelations 1, who was involved with the Queen Zenobia and a bunch of those boats that sank. I actually don't really know anything about him, and our special guest canceled on me, so the phone call to special guest has been canceled. I was going to ask him to tell us all about Clive O'Brien. Ralphie Pangmata asks, do you think that Clive O'Brien mentioned hints that the BSAA would return in Resident Evil 7? I still think there's a chance that CEDEC image of the BSAA agent, that's a lot of letters, is from Resident Evil 7, but I'm not 100% sure, so I don't want to keep talking about that. Christian says, what if it's the little girl and she follows you and creeps you out? I believe you're talking about the monster in the beginning. That would be another interesting one I never thought of, the little girl transforming into that molded monster. And Goldheart says, could Clive have anything to do with the Bakers? I don't know. So the next character that they also mentioned was Rachel. Hey, Rachel. Was Alyssa Ashford, who's a news reporter who was involved in Raccoon City through the Outbreak games. She was investigating a hospital where the zombie outbreak was kind of taking place, and she apparently wrote possibly that news story that we keep saying in the previews about the people disappearing in the bayou. So she definitely has investigated this situation before, and some people were thinking, well, maybe she's the one behind the phone trying to solve the case for her news report and using you kind of as a guinea pig kind of to help her uncover the story without her having to put herself in danger. I don't really know much about that character either. I haven't played Outbreak since the year it came out. But that would be interesting if her character was kind of sly like that, then it would fit the phone voice. But I don't know if she's like a nice character. She seemed like a nice character, although she did smash a laptop at the end. The Emperor's got a little blurb on O'Brien. He's the captain of the BSAA. And a bunch of stuff I have no idea what you're talking about. So we'll pass that one out. We'll pass up on that one. And so, yeah, the question here is, and it's on Twitter, is do you think that these characters from Outbreak and Revelations are actually part of the plot? Or are they just Easter eggs that the people are putting into the game to make us all happy? The diehards are going to notice this stuff. The regular people that watch Walking Dead and they're like, oh, there's a Resident Evil game coming out. Those people don't care, but we care, and they kind of want to... It looks like they're putting a bunch of stuff to kind of get the diehard fans involved in this game more so than the past. So another person who played the game said they found a photo of the Arklay Mountains, which is where the mansion was in Resident Evil 1. So it looks like there's a bunch of Easter egg, callback kind of things as well in the game. And if you're just joining us, check out Twitter at WHERESBARRY to answer the poll questions for the official kind of results on that. And to ask any questions that I'm missing, there's so much information that came out this week that I'm going through it pretty quickly. So far, we've asked what the mystery alien creature was from the TV ad, and 92% of you guys said it's a new enemy. So that's interesting that on Twitter at least, that's kind of the result. The second question was about Alyssa and O'Brien and if they're part of the game or Easter eggs. It's a little bit heavier towards Easter eggs, but it's almost 50-50 there. So it's cool to see all you guys answering on Twitter as well. As I said, the chat deletes. And if you are enjoying this format, then leave a like, and then that will convince me that you guys like it, and I'll try to do shows like this once a week to talk about all the videos of the week. And yeah, tomorrow there's a video coming out as well, so stay tuned for that. At some point tomorrow, depending on if any other news breaks and if I have to put another video in. Alright, so that Biohazard thing also talked about the coin. And we talked a little bit about the coin last week. Did everybody in the chat beat the demo last week and get the coin? I know I put out a strategy guide. When I played it live, it kind of worked. The one I played that did a 2-minute strategy guide, it kind of sucked because it left out some important information. But I'm assuming that everybody had the coin that has PlayStation. And it might have taken you a long time. I'm actually wondering how much you guys watched the VHS tape. I've watched it 50 times when the original demo came out, probably more, and they made me watch it another 50 times to get this coin ending. I don't know how many times I did it, 10 times. And the earliest I got it was on 2 watches, and the latest I got it was on 5. Some commenters have told me it took them 6 or 7. King Behemoth says it took 50 tries. I don't think so. Dilla never played the demo. It seems like a lot of the other people have the coins. So the coins, what they do is you use them to buy upgrades. We think that the antique coin is also one of the regular coins, the demo coin, that maybe you have to clean off to use. Or it could be for a special secret or item. I'm not exactly sure. But the coins are in the game, and upgrades are in the game. And we learned from this Biohazard report that they are found in a trailer that is outside the plantation mansion, and it's like a creepy old trailer, and you walk inside, and there are gold cages up on the wall, and you put coins in them to buy the upgrades. The upgrades we know are in the game so far are increased health, which comes in the form of an injection in the arm, so you inject it into your bloodstream. We've got a magnum, which is probably the gun sitting in the cage, and we have faster reload, which is probably not an injection, but gun parts that are in the cage as well. So you might be able to find gun parts in the game and upgrade your guns that way, as opposed to leveling up traditionally. Muhammad says, did PS4 get the coin automatically? I don't think so. I think you have to buy, or you have to beat the demo. The coins in the game come in different colors, or so they've showed us in the pre-game artwork throughout different survival packs, but it looks like all the slots are the same size, so I think they're all the same denomination, just different colors, so you could say, oh, where'd you find the blue coin? Where'd you find the red coin? But they could be different denominations to add together to buy things, and each item costs a different thing. So the Magnum, I don't know what that costs. That might be the most expensive item you can buy. And the thought that it's in one of those camper trailers, people call it different things in different countries, but we call it a camper. What do you guys call it? A caravan. I heard people call it a caravan. It's like a mobile home as well. If that is driving around or being towed around, then people are thinking, well, maybe the merchant could possibly be the one driving it, and they don't see the merchant when they played the game, the media, so maybe we just run into the merchant at the end and realize who's been helping us the whole time, or maybe he's not even in it. But there's one thing that Capcom knows, and it's that everybody is crazy about the merchant. And they love any little hint. They loved seeing that. Everybody loved seeing the coin when it released like months ago, and everyone's like, merchant, 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 merchant. So, I don't know. And also people thought Camille, dang it, I did it again! That name has not been proven. The grandma is definitely, she's not selling you stuff. What else do we have here? So, yeah, one of the things you're going to have to do in the game is make a bunch of decisions. So if you're one of those people who likes, a Fallout game where you have infinite weight and you pick up every item, every, pencil on the ground, you're probably not going to like this. There's a lot of decisions you're going to have to make. They're going to be tough decisions, especially the first time through the game when you don't know what's coming up. Do you buy the Magnum? Or do you buy the health increase early, or do you save up till you find more coins and buy the Magnum? It's a very tough decision that you're going to have to make, and that leads us into the backpack that we found out increases our inventory from 12 to 16, because you're also going to have to make a lot of decisions about what ammo to carry. 16 sounds like a lot of items, but it's definitely not, especially when things like the shotgun and the bolt cutters take up 2 slots, and they don't get discarded when you're done using them. So you're going to have to take advantage of the item boxes, and one of the things that not everybody knows is that they are reported to be interconnected, like Resident Evil 1, so that box and the one over there, I don't have them in my house, but maybe I should get some, are connected together. And again, that might be just on low difficulty level. So every time you play on Madhouse mode, or maybe even a hard difficulty level, they might take things away from you. Less coins, less upgrades, less everything in there. Blue Sheep says the minigun will take up 18 slots. Yeah, I was actually talking to somebody today, because I really think the rocket launcher is going to be in there at some point. Maybe not in the main story of the game, but in a DLC or in a like a bonus mode when you beat the game. And there's only 4 boxes across, and rocket launcher doesn't curve. So 4 is going to be the max amount of slots unless there are side packs, which I don't think there's going to be side packs, because I don't see how it all fits into that menu screen. But that is also something that would bring back towards Resident Evil 2 and after that with the side packs. So the backpack is kind of the side pack, and we don't know when you're going to find it. Again, that guy Leon from Games Radar said he didn't even know if he picked it up or not, so I don't even think he found it. And we've got 60 zoms in the theory chat right now. This is awesome. I love talking this with you guys. Unfortunately, there's so many people that the chat keeps going boom, 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 boom. And I'm also following the guidelines here. So I'll answer some. We'll do some questions at the end. And as always, Twitter, WHERESBARRY. Throw your questions there. And in the videos that I linked in the description, in the comments, I go through all of them. I answer 90% of them. Some people, they don't have an answer, but most of them I will answer. And it might be over the next couple days because I'm not feeling great right now. Another thing that we saw in the report was the mention of 3 different possible locations that we might find in the game. They talked about these 3 locations in notes, so they didn't actually see these locations play out, but there's a chance that we're going to be seeing these 3. Those 3 are the boat, which we think is the intro to the game, which I think is the intro to the game. The hospital, which I think is the place with 3 floors that mold zombie guy turns into stone or whatever in the trailer. That might be the hospital, and the basement might be where that creature is. And then the third one is the church, and I don't know if Liddell, I think that's his name. He's awesome on Reddit and Twitter and the comments. He made sure I zoomed in on the picture in the Tape 3 trailer, and it looks like they show the church in that picture. Like, you come around the side. It's a very quick scene. They come around the side, and if you pause it, it kind of looks like a church is sitting there in the woods, so like a little chapel. So that's very, very Resident Evil. Peaches, you're going to get a timeout if you keep chatting 5 times in a row. So the question I want to ask you guys is, what other scenes do you think would be in the game, or do you want to see in the game? Or do you want to just stay on the plantation the whole time? And then I guess the secondary follow-up would be, where are these scenes taking place? Is it a continuous straight line? Or are you on the boat, you fall in the water, and it says 3 years later, and then you wake up at the plantation, and then it says 3 years later, and you're in the hospital? Or is it just like smooth? You fall off the boat, you wake up on the shore, it's like it's only 1 day later, and it goes like that. Goldheart wants to explore the game. Gaming Sloth wants an Umbrella Lab. Alexander said didn't know that, and keep in mind that they were mentioned in notes, and the only thing I think we saw was the cathedral church thingy. Dilla John wants to see the mansion again. I think you mean the original mansion that blew up 17 years ago, 20 years ago. But maybe Lisa Trevor will come out of it. Everybody's least favorite theory. Survivor wants the return of Hunk and an underground lab. Oh my gosh, you guys are going quick. A lot of people want to see labs, boats, underground tunnel that connects different areas. The underground tunnel So this is a plantation house from a long time ago, and it might have been designed by George Trevor, who's all about secret passageways. So there is a very good chance that there is a secret underneath, a secret passageway somewhere. Maybe it's not like traditional games where there's a lab underneath, but there are definitely secret, and we've seen one of the secret passageways in Lantern. We've seen one in the regular demo where you pull the fireplace out. GameScan says they want to fly a helicopter. Dilla John says, spoiler alert, because he didn't know they blew up the mansion in Resident Evil 1. And a lot of people are telling me that they know things about the game. That's another thing that's been happening. I get tweets every day, DMs. Oh, I know these things happened. And then I usually click on the username and then do 5 seconds of research and realize, hey, aren't you the guy who had this fake spoiler on this? And they're like, no, but your name is the exact same, except you added like 84 to the end. Like, oh, that's not me. Yeah. And a lot of people want to ride speedboats. And Victor and everybody, I will answer any of those. Keep all the questions related to these theories that we're talking about, because I will answer the other ones, my favorite games, what inspired me, stuff like that, either on Twitter, in the comments, offline, in a different question and answer. But let's stay on point. I made this awesome bullet list here today. So we're actually a little more